Are now watching Zacian PTCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' Pokemon peeps? Welcome back to Zacian PTCG. Today we are going to be covering over Blacephalon. Now, Blacephalon's one of those decks where you're like, yo, Zach, are you talking about Temposard, Cracephalon, Crowns, whatever you're talking about this deck? I mean, I'm talking about Blacephalon. As with like a 4 of. So this is a deck that's really been doing well. Vinny Fernandez recently won the Absalom TCG Cup, the Season 2 #1. So major congratulations to them on their accomplishments. We're going to be exploring that deck, see the viability. I mean, it's very similar to Temposard, just a little bit more fire energies and a little bit more Blacephalon focus. But in our current metagame, especially after Joshua Sutherland's gigantic win at the Chill Series 28 event with Luke Metal, maybe we are going to see a little bit of a resurgence of fire, so we'll have to see exactly how that goes. The deck list is in the description for my personal list. It might be the exact one as Vinny's at the time of this video. I'm honestly not sure because all Pokemon, there's so many events going on, but either way, very inspired by Vinny Fernandez's list. So shout out to them. If you're missing any of the cards for this deck, go to PTCGO plug in code ZLASAGE5 to save 5% on your next order. And if you're new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right there. Totally mean the world. Give this video a like to signal boost to other Pokemon fans, and let's jump exactly into the deck list. So looking at this deck list, it's very similar to Temposard, Cracephalon, the deck that I've been featuring in my top 10 meta breakdown. Now, I mean, it's similar enough where it's been focusing off of Blacephalon's Fireball Circus and a bunch of other Pokemon. So this has the Blacephalon, this has the Cramorant, this has the Welder. The only difference here is that it's going to be playing a few more fire energies because it is Welder based, so you could use Fireball Circus, trying to do more damage with Fireball Circus, hence why it's a Blacephalon deck. And there's really no Reshiram and Charizard GX. So if you watch any of those videos, you're going to find a lot of similarities. If you're trying to wonder what's the difference between the two archetypes, that's really where it's at. If you are new to this archetype or new to the channel, let me explain exactly what we have going on. So Blacephalon is a strong single prize card attacker, and this deck focuses very much on a single prize card attacking strategy where you force as many Blacephalons and other Pokemon that can be powered up with Welder. Welder reads attach up to 2 fire energy cards from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you do, draw 3 cards. So kind of like fire type Hop, you could attach a couple fire energies, build up a Pokemon, and you could draw 3 cards. On top of Welder, you could attach an energy for your turn. So anything within 3 energies can be powered up in a single Welder for 2 energies and an energy attachment for your turn. So Blazer is really just kind of a bonus attack, unless you know exactly the whereabouts of all the fire energies in your prize cards, or you can be like, hey, I prized all 6 fire energies. Blazer is always just going to be kind of like, oh, I missed Fireball Circus, or I don't want to be using Fireball Circus for a lot of damage. Fireball Circus is really one of those things where you mainly want to be knocking out your opponent's Pokemon with Fireball Circus whenever possible. It's one of those things where you don't want to be 1 energy short or 2 energy short. In most cases, you want to be like, yeah, I got the knockout. I mean, in some rare occurrences, maybe you want to kind of go for a 2-shot measure, but the deck has enough fire energies, and if you sequence it well, you should be in a good position to be able to get it. So make sure that you're able to count in numbers of 50s, so 50, 100, just determining how many energies you need. Maybe it's a good idea to write down a separate sheet of Pokemon and be like, okay, 7 energies, that's 7 times 50 is 350 damage. That's enough to knock out an Eternatus V. That's enough, or VMAX, that's enough to knock out a Victini VMAX. And then be like, okay, 4 energies, that's enough to knock out a Bolton. That's enough to knock out a Crobat V. And those are really the things like choosing popular Pokemon and just how many energies you need is certainly going to help out. When it comes to a strategy like this. I mean, I know that I personally use that in a lot of tournaments whenever possible in this online era. Just having a list of Pokemon and energies certainly helpful. So other ways that we have to make this deck consistent, we have Jirachi with Stellar Wish. So once during your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you may look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal a trainer card, so any item, trainer, supporter, stadium, and put it into your hand. You put this Pokemon to sleep. So we can just look at the top 5 cards of our deck. You got Scoop Up Net, you got Switch to get out of that asleep special condition, and then you can kind of turn into Blacephalon. So maybe you're searching for an energy retrieval to get a couple energies back because you need some more ammo for Fireball Circus. Maybe you're looking for that Welder to power up one of those Pokemon, or a Welder to power up another Pokemon that can be powered up with Welder, like Cramorant V. So you use Spit Shot, knocking out a Dedenne-GX on your opponent's bench because you can snipe them for 160. So this is really where the deck has some versatility. I mean, you have some other Pokemon like a Crobat, you got a Dedenne, you got a Zacian that are really good for setup. And you have Mew that can block bench damage. So if your opponent's playing Rapid Strike Urshifu, or Pikachu and Zekrom GX with Tag Bolts, or a Naganadel-GX, those are all Pokemon that might want to snipe the bench. You can keep on putting supporters on top of your deck with Mind Report, so when you play this Pokemon down from your hand to your bench, you may put a supporter card from your discard pile on top of your deck. That also works very well with Scoop of Net, so you can use Mewtwo's Mind Report ability over and over again. You also have Oricorio-GX anytime one of your Pokemon are knocked out, whether they were single prize card Pokemon, dual prize card Pokemon, anything like that. Dance of Tribute will allow you to draw some cards, and just really making your setup a little bit huge. You're trying to go for these huge boastful turns. A lot of the cards in the deck are really just Great Balls, Quick Balls, ways to search out all the Pokemon available in this deck. I mean, Quick Ball can grab any single Pokemon in this deck. You got ways to get out of the active with the Switch and the Scoop of Net, ways to search out your fire energies. You have ways to get your fire energies back. You have one single copy of Boss, which might be a little bit weird, but you have Cramorant V that can snipe the bench. And you also have Mewtwo that can continuously recycle it. You can't play Welder and Boss in the same turn, and Blacephalon's likely not going to survive a hit, so you really only need the one Boss there. Welder to power things up, and then you got a bunch of fire energies to really make this deck work together. So overall, pretty simple deck, but really where the skill is going to be coming in is sequencing properly between knowing what you're searching for at any given time. So when you have actions like Jirachi Stellar Wish, Oricorio's Dance of Tribute, Welder, searching your deck for fire energies, what is the correct order to be doing things, determining if you're looking for a item card, trainer card, supporter, stadium. Maybe you want to be using Jirachi last. Maybe you want to use things like Oricorio to thin your deck out of non-discrete cards, cards that are not necessarily any particular cards. Maybe you want to be grabbing fire energies with Giant Hearth first. Maybe you don't want to use Giant Hearth first because you need more fire energies, and you use Oricorio, leaving fire energies in your deck, and then using Giant Hearth afterwards to give yourself a higher chance. So a lot of it's really determining what you're looking for on any given turn, and then coming up with ideas that allow you to really grow from that idea and trying to nab those cards. And that's really where the best Blacephalon players really exceed well. They really just they're like, okay, cool, we really know exactly what we're looking for. Let's see exactly how we can get there. So we're going to play some games with this deck, see where it's at. I mean, one thing that I do want to let people know, Welder decks are a little bit inconsistent. The only draw supporter in this deck draws 3 cards. Compared to most decks that play Professor's Research that are pitch your hand, draw 7, you can see a lot more cards. With Welder decks, you really have to plan everything very carefully, sequence properly, and sometimes you're just not going to get the best hands. But overall, this is one of the better decks in the format, definitely a top 10 deck, in my opinion. Either this or the Tempos are, again, both very similar depending on your playstyle. And if you are missing any other cards in the decks, like, let's say if you don't have 4 Blacephalons, and you were playing on the ladder, you got a couple of those Reshiram and Charizard GX off the ladder from doing well on it, then maybe you could add in a Reshiram and Charizard GX instead of the 4th Blacephalon, or maybe you can add in other Cramorant. So double check through my videos. I got a lot of content on there available for all these kind of decks. Fire decks can really interchange Pokemon. As long as you can power it up with a Welder, you should be okay. Alright, let's jump and see exactly what we get going on here. So I'm going to be calling a coin flip. We're going to be calling tails here. Hopefully I get a chance to go seconds. Maybe my opponent will just go first. I like going second because I could go Welder on my first turn, maybe knock something out with Fireball Circus. Now, with this particular hand, I'm going to be forced to start with Zacian, and that's one of the issues that I have with this deck in general, is that sometimes you're not necessarily going to get the Pokemon you want to start with, but we are a quick ball away from just kind of dealing with what we got going on. So let's send up the Zacian, see exactly what our opponent flips over. They might be a little bit confused because Zacian is typically a card played in Luke Metal or ADP, so maybe they won't entirely understand what's going on here. So let's see exactly what they how they plan on dealing with this game. So they are starting with a Roly-Coly. Interesting choice. I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be like a Sandaconda, Roly-Coly, or Coalossal deck, or some kind of Coalossal box deck. I mean, some of them have seen some success in the game, but we'll have to see exactly where my opponent's at here. So they might be deciding on what they're trying to do on their first turn. There's a quick ball from them. So trying to gain as much information as possible. So with the Cramorant there, I'm assuming that it's got to be a Coalossal box. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Sandaconda or anything else. Maybe they'll attach an energy, but they can't really do much on their first turn. And here we are not grabbing anything in particular. One thing that I don't mind doing here is actually just going Welder onto Zacian. It does allow me to get it out of the active in case I don't want to waste a switch. I can get more fire energies in my discard pile, so I'm going to go ahead and do that here. So let's go double fire energy onto the Zacian. At least I have another Pokemon down. I'm not entirely sure what my opponent has in terms of like supporter cards, or stadium cards I should say. Nothing in particular. That seems great, but I will attach an energy here anyways. And let's go ahead here and go for Intrepid Sword. So we do have a Quick Ball. We do have a couple more fire energies. Now, one thing that I could be doing is maybe putting a Mewtwo on top of my deck, then going into an Intrepid Sword. Certainly not the best hand that I'm excited for, but depending on what we top deck, we could be in a good spot. Here, they already got the rare candy, Coalossal, which means they can go Tar Generator, building up energies. Maybe they'll be able to, they have to get them from their discard pile, so that's something interesting. So they do play Martial Arts Dojo. Maybe they're going to go for Dedenne. Mew could be quite good in this matchup, as long as they do not knock out our Blacephalon this turn. It would suck if they knocked out our Blacephalon, to be quite honest. So we'll have to see exactly what we got going on there. There's an energy. They might just be going Beak Catch, so we are safe a turn, so we do need to keep in mind exactly what we got going on here. They don't really play basic Pokemon. They do play they don't really play single prize card Pokemon. They play 2 prize card Pokemon, so we should be in a pretty okay spot here overall. There's our Beak Catch. Let's see exactly how we might want to deal with this. So I'm going to go Great Ball first. I think Great Ball is going to be an awesome way for me to search through. If I used Quick Ball first, I'd be keeping more Pokemon in the deck, so I know that I'm searching for a Pokemon. So let's see what Great Ball brings. So, I mean, Blacephalon seems like a pretty okay Pokemon, to be honest. Oricorio would not be bad either. Maybe I'll go with the Oricorio, just in case my hand gets a little bit dicey. Let's go. Oricorio goes down here. Let's go Quick Ball, discards here. I probably should have played the Quick Ball first, but we're going to go ahead here and grab a Crobat. So we're not going to be pitching this entire hand. Our Dedenne is prized. We do need to keep that in mind. We have access to Blacephalons. We have access to all of our Fire Crystals and Energy Retrievals because we have one in our hands. And really it becomes important because we have a handful of Fire Energies that are just gone. So just making sure that we have enough to really complete the game. So there's a Jirachi. We're going to try to draw as many cards as possible. I could waste the Fire Crystal by attaching energy to the Blacephalon, but I think I'm going to keep it there. Let's go ahead here and go Crobat. This could still be a good turn for us, especially if we're able to find a Welder. We're only 1 energy really away from getting what we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead here and Welder onto the Blacephalon. I really like that idea right now. And I can go Giant Hearth here to just take care of this. So let's go Giant Hearth, discarding a Jirachi. I already have a Jirachi in play, and I don't necessarily think they're going to go after that. So I'm going to grab a couple of those fire energies, and timing is everything. So we can see right now, I need 4 energies with Fireball Circus to knock out a Cramorant V. I only have 3 energies in my hand, but I do have that Fireball Crystal, or the Fire Crystal. So we have the fire energy there. Instead of using it right away, I am going to retreat first. I could retreat into the Jirachi, but I'm actually going to keep the Scoop Up Net for another turn. So we're going to retreat there. Now we're going to go for Fire Crystal. And I know I was originally searching for a Mew. I think I'm okay now, the fact that I'm actually just getting a knockout. My opponent might be in a bit of an awkward spot. Do I want to get an extra energy on board? I'm honestly not sure. I think I'm probably just going to wait on it. Because I could just power up my Pokemon in a single turn anyways. So let's go Fireball Circus, 1, 2, 3, 4. Double checking that it's 200 HP. Yep, and 4 energy selected. Perfect. So there's 200 damage for the knockouts. So pretty good. Not a bad rebound turn after that Marnie. So there's our Dedenne. We know that we can have access to that. We have our Cramorant. Maybe we could snipe something. Do they have any Pokemon that have 160 or less HP? I can knock out their entire Coalossal, which is their way to power up things. So if I'm able to just go Welder onto the Cramorant, I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. They discard 2 energies from that Pokemon, so it might be a really good way for me to just jump into this game. Although they did put another Roly-Coly down, so maybe that's their kind of game plan. I have to still kind of think about that. Really just a A lot of it's just analyzing and understanding what's going on here. I think my best plan is probably just knocking out as many 2 prize card Pokemon as possible. It doesn't really matter what it is, since I don't have the whole Zigzagoon plays with Cramorant. I don't think Cramorant's going to see too much success. I think they're going to be drawing 1 prize card. I'm going to be drawing 2 prize cards. And that really should be how I'm able to win the game, or at least be in an early position to win the game. So, they're going to draw their prize card. We're going to send up Jirachi. So Jirachi is really the way that we're going to be trying to get our things like our welders and stuff like that. There's a Great Ball. So I mean, really, I'm not like upset at all about this. I think if there's anything that I'm searching for a Blacephalon, I'm searching for a welder, I'm searching for things that I might want to be dealing with. So first and foremost, I'm going to start off here with a Giant Hearth. I'm not looking for fire energies too much. I'm really probably going to be looking for fire crystals. Cramorant, I've already decided that it's not going to be too great in this matchup, so I'm going to already pitch that away. Grabbing a couple fire energies. I do see that I have the Mewtwo in the deck. The Mewtwo could be really good. I am going to go for the Oricorio next. I think Oricorio is going to be great to draw some non-descript cards, giving me a higher chance to search for a Pokemon with Great Ball, leaving more opportunities for me to find a Blacephalon, or a Mewtwo, or a welder in general. So I found the Blacephalon. Now you can see that I can manipulate my deck with Mewtwo. But first, let's go for Great Ball. I think Great Ball can certainly be good. I will take another one of those for sure. And I will go for Mewtwo first now. So now I'm going to go for Mewtwo. Let's go Quick Ball away. I think here I'm almost okay to discard a Fire Energy if I ever saw one. So I am going to discard a Fire Energy. There's the Mewtwo. So Mewtwo's going to go ahead, and I'm going to go Mine Report before Jirachi. So I guarantee getting myself that welder on top of my deck. Maybe I'll find 2, but it is what it is. Let's go Stellar Wish. So I wouldn't have had the welder on top of the deck. So now I could power up my Blacephalon. So Blacephalon goes down, welder to Blacephalon. There's a couple energies. We see an energy retrieval, so I am a little bit off when it comes to my energies. But I have opportunities that I might be able to kind of jump into. So I am going to go Scoop of Net here onto my Mewtwo. And I am able to put down a Jirachi here. So let's go ahead here and Scoop of Net because I want to search out for more things. Fire crystals. That would be certainly enough for me to get the knockout that I'm looking for. A fire crystal is basically the 5 energies I need. So let's go Scoop of Net on the Jirachi in the active. So you can utilize our things more and more. So this deck, there's a lot of like sequencing involved. Let's go ahead, Stellar Wish here. If I find a Fire Crystal, we're in business. Now, maybe I want to be finding another switch. Maybe I want to be finding, maybe Boss is what I'm looking for. Honestly, I think that if there's anything that I'm looking for, it's probably just going to be another switch for next turn. So we're going to go ahead, grab that. We have another chance for Jirachi. I mean, we have access to 3 Fire Crystals left in the deck. 3, I'm looking at 5 cards, 3, basically 1 out of every single 6 cards. I mean, my chances seem pretty okay here. Let's go Jirachi. Let's go ahead and play Switch onto the Jirachi. So we can totally use this one again. Let's go Stellar Wish. There's our Fire Crystal, so we will be able to get our knockout as long as we have 5 in our discard pile. I should also double check that. We do have 8 in our discard pile. So let's go Fire Crystal here. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. We're going to go Energy Retrieval. So you have to be very aware of what you have left in your deck, what you have left in your hand, all that good stuff. And then we're going to go ahead and go for the Switch on the Blacephalon. We have our energy right here, and we are able to go for Fireball Circus for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if they do bench something, like if they ever bench something like a Dedenne, that's where Cramorant would just be your last prize cards, and it's much easier to go 3 energies on a Cramorant. But I'm okay with grabbing a couple fire energies here out of my prize cards. I'm really just searching for a welder, maybe even just a Scoop of Net, but I do have access to Oricorio. There's a lot of things that I have access to in my deck that I'm feeling pretty okay about. Maybe they're going to attack me with a Coalossal here. Maybe that's going to be their game plan. Tar Generator to their active, maybe? They do certainly have enough energies to make that happen. Might be a little bit more difficult for us to go through these Pokemon. Does do 130, so that is enough for a knockout. Maybe I'll be able to go Welder, Boss. I don't know if their Crushing Hammer really matters there. I don't think it does, to be honest. But certainly a good move from their behalf, getting their Flaming Avalanche off, because we can't necessarily win the game immediately next turn. And Reset Stamp, Gonna hurt a little bit there. So, there's a knockout. We do have a Giant Hearth. I'm feeling okay. Let's send up the Jirachi and see what we can get going on here. There's a Fire Energy. I'm totally cool with that. We're going to start off by using Giant Hearth, discarding a Giant Hearth, getting some of our Fire Energies out here. And we're going to go ahead here and go for Oricorio. I think Dance of Tribute seems like a pretty good option if you ask me. There's our Blacephalon. We have a bunch of energies. Maybe we'll find a Welder. So let's go ahead, go Stellar Wish. We can see that we do find a Welder. Maybe I'll just power up this Pokemon on the bench. Hopefully they won't find a way to get out of the active, or maybe they could just retreat and get out of the active. Maybe I don't want to power it up this turn. Maybe I want to bring up one of their other Pokemon that might struggle a little bit in the active. So maybe I'm going to go ahead and grab the boss's orders. That might be interesting at the very least. Maybe I could have got the knockout on the Coalossal. Maybe I'm overthinking this whole situation. Let's go ahead and go boss's orders up on this Pokemon right here. It's 270, so it's really only one more energy. I need 6 energies to knock out this Pokemon. I don't think it's going to find its way out of the active too well, especially with the amount of energies that they currently have in here. Only the one has a retreat cost of 3, so we'll see exactly if that's something that we can get around with. And if it doesn't work out, it really just cost myself an extra turn. Not a big deal. I'm just going to go for Intrepid Sword here. And we can see that I kind of have a bunch of stuff to like deal with next turn. So if they just go for the knockout with Sandaconda, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to win the game. But maybe I should have just gone for the knockout with the Coalossal, so that I would have just been able to knock out their last Pokemon. But that's really where this deck has decisions, and some are not always going to be the most correct. We're going to see exactly which Pokemon they bring up. There's an Oricorio. So maybe they're trying to go for the Sand Breath knockouts. I mean, they're certainly not getting a knockout with Coalossal or anything else. Oh, another reset stamp. Interesting. That sucks a little bit for us. Our hand was quite good. So they're going to need to find an energy. Particularly, they're going to need to be able to find a fighting energy to be able to use Sand Breath. So we'll see how that works for them. Maybe they'll just go for Sand Eater, and we won't get knocked out. So a lot of really interesting plays here. And really just waiting on what our opponent can do with their 7 cards remaining in their deck right now. The other reset stamp really taking me a little bit off guard here. Wasn't necessarily expecting that. Probably should have retreated into the Coalossal and sniped something on the bench. Maybe they're going to go Tar Generator, Beak Catch. But there's really only so many cards left in their deck. Oh. They could have also just attached for their turn. I mean, I don't necessarily think that it's the best way that I would have dealt with that, but I'm fine with the Sand Breath there. Because now they have the Jirachi. I can kind of deal with what I want to deal with. They could knock out our Zacian, so Reset Stamp really being a killer in this format. Let's see what we can get here with the Jirachi. So there's a Mew. I think I'm probably looking for like a Quick Ball, so I could try to get everything going. I mean, we have the Welder left in our deck and everything. If we just get like a Dedenne and a Blacephalon down, I feel pretty okay. So I'm going to go Stellar Wish here first. Scoop Up Net might just be the best case scenario for me. So I'm going to go ahead and go Scoop Up Net onto the Jirachi. We're going to see what this brings down. Before I play anything else down, maybe I'll be able to get everything off of this. I just need to think about it, what exactly makes the most sense for me. Do I want to use Giant Hearth first? Maybe it's better for me to use Giant Hearth first just to thin my deck out a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and try that out. I mean, we still have Blacephalons, we still have Quick Balls, we still have Dedennes and all that great stuff. So let's go for Stellar Wish here. Hopefully we can find a Quick Ball here. So there's Quick Ball number 1. And I mean, that's a really good first step for us. I do want to keep everything in my hand, so I'm unfortunately going to have to pitch away a Fire Energy. But no, I can't really pitch away a Fire Energy. We have a Jirachi there. Yeah, so we're going to go Quick Ball away. Maybe the Jirachi, maybe the switch. Let's go Quick Ball away on the Jirachi. I think we do need the switch out of the active position. It's a little bit of a weird hand, but we do have access to another Jirachi, but we don't have access to another switch anyway, so that would have just been incorrect. We're really looking for a Quick Ball off of this, or Dedenne. Or, you know, enough energies just to make it all happen. So we're gonna go here. Let's go Welder, power up this Pokemon. And that is enough energies to make it all happen, I think. So that is literally the perfect cards that we ever could have drawn into, because that's 6, that's bringing it to 270, so we are able to complete this game. Not every single game is going to happen like that. I think our chances were higher to just draw into a Dedenne or a Quick Ball, but I mean, I certainly can't complain about just drawing into it. Probably should have knocked out the Coalossal when I had the opportunity instead of forcing our luck like this. So there's the Fireball Circus just for enough, and they're going to concede there. And that's how this deck is played out. That was kind of a crazy game. It's one of those things where I think the deck kind of exercised exactly what it could do, what it can't do, where its limitations are, how it can actually see success in a game. And that's really why I went with one game in here, because I couldn't necessarily come up with another game that could embody that. Sometimes I was in my testing, I'd just be going Fireball Circus turn 1, knocking out their single Pokemon like a Jirachi. Or other games, I'd just be like, cool, I drew into a Blacephalon in 6 energies, and that's not a real game. So not every single game is going to be as interesting as that one, but that really embodied exactly what Blacephalon could be doing in the format. And although I don't necessarily think that was my necessarily perfect game played, I think I could have knocked out the Coalossal a turn before instead of going for that boss play. I think that was a little bit greedy for me. It ended up working out because I got a little bit lucky at the end. Even though that I had probably a more secure game plan elsewhere, sometimes you just draw the magical cards and you pray up there to Arceus or something like that, however it works. So I mean, I think this deck's cool. Give it a chance to tinker around. I wouldn't mind adding just like a Reshiram and Charizard GX into this deck. I personally really enjoy that card. I think I can definitely control its 3 prize card next. So maybe I'm a little bit more of a Tempozard player than a Blacephalon player. But give this deck a try, because it will really push the amount of sequencing and thought process and game planning you could put into a particular game. So be sure to check that out. That being said, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you haven't already subscribe to the channel already. If you want, you can use PTCGO code ZELASAGE5 to save 5% on your next order of codes. Maybe you're looking to build the cards from this deck, or you're trying to build up your collection, however that works, and all that good stuff. So I mean, list is in the description. Feel free to give it a try. That being said, I gotta go edit this video before going on to do some more coaching with some of my clients, so I'll catch up with everyone later. Thank you so much for everyone. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who's become a channel member so far. Some peeps love watching my videos, and I totally appreciate that, but some peeps have gone more than out of their way beyond just watching my videos and have supported me financially. So shout out to everyone who's been featured on this channel, who's going through this list of names. We actually have so many channel members that I can't fit them in a single slide, so I figured this might be the best way to get everyone appreciated and kind of showcase all of the top supporters of the Zacian PTCG YouTube channel. Seriously, it means I mean it from the bottom of my heart. It's honestly, I'm almost at a loss for words, but I'm so happy that you are all appreciating and loving the content, and that it's hitting home. And I mean, I'm up all in my feels, so I hope that you understand. And thank you so much, everyone. If you want to become a channel member, totally consider it. I'll make it worth your while, and I totally mean that. I'll do everything I possibly can for my channel members to make it sure that it's worth their while. So thank you so much, everyone, and it's just amazing. Thank you. For everyone who's wondering on how to become a channel member, I first and foremost appreciate your consideration. You can click on any one of my videos on desktop, and then you could click join. Join will give you all the opportunities about what we have going on. You could support my content, you could choose the deck list hookup, where you get access to my deck list, and we have a group coaching package as well. There's a lot of other things like custom emotes, early access to videos that I try to offer. So you would just click join, and you'd be good, and you'd be featured at the end of these videos. So much for watching and supporting the channel. If you haven't already, it'd mean the world to me if you could subscribe to help support me as a content creator. Thanks again, and have yourself a great one.